Howdy ho, neighbor. This is Dave with the Bass Channel, and today we're talking about the Barker Assmaster from Malekko. Not only is the Assmaster one of my favorite fuzz pedals for bass, and it's fun to say, but this one's actually mine that I brought over from home. Again, it's one of my favorites. I've had a few of them over the years. I just grabbed this one more recently because I found out that they don't make them anymore. So apologies to everybody who's mad when we show off something that you can't buy brand new anymore, but I think that it's a worthy contender, and you see them on Reverb every once in a while. It's a couple $100. They're not super pricey, but they are a little bit difficult to find nowadays. So, for those of you who are not familiar with Malekko or Barker, as in Barker Assmaster, Barker is for Paul Barker from Ministry, who is the co-founder of Malekko Heavy Industry and who made this pedal. Over the years, there have been several versions of this, some with different paint jobs, some with different diodes inside. If it's got a pink LED, it's silicon. If it's got a blue LED, it's germanium. There have been a couple of additional versions, such as double germanium. There have been versions with expression pedal jacks for the sensitivity knob. There have been versions with, letters on the front just as a fun thing from the factory. Some of them even had goofy toofies inside, hidden inside. So if you open yours up and you find some funny hillbilly teeth in there, that came from the factory like that. And it was just a fun thing. Sonically, this pedal can be a lot. It's very splattery and corpulent and has that octave up overtone because obviously, just by the look, by the name, this is based on the Maestro bass Brassmaster from the 60s. And it seems that several companies have their own version nowadays. Even Behringer makes one of these now. So if you can't find one of these, but you want something that sounds approximately the same, maybe with a little bit less fun labels, then you could probably grab that one. But I'm a sucker for the funny shit. Speaking of funny shit, that's where we get into the controls on this guy. There's 3 knobs labeled Ass Volume, Bass Volume, and Sensitivity. There's 2 switches named Ass and Harm. What do those things all do, you may ask? Alright, Ass Volume, volume of the effect. Bass Volume, volume of your bass. I personally think that it cuts a little bit of the lowest lows out of the bass, but I think it depends on what bass you're playing and what rig you're playing through. Because when we were recording here in the studio, we didn't hear much, if any, low-end loss. But when I play it through my amp at home, there's a little bit cut off the very bottom, maybe 80 hertz or so and below. Something like that. And the sensitivity knob is sort of like a gain knob, but it's not just a gain knob. If you go all the way to the left, then you're pretty much just running clean-ish signal. And as you crank it up, it gets a little bit more crazy and corpulent, but it tightens back up when you get to the top. So that's almost like hitting enough gain to overload it into gating territory. I don't know exactly what the switches do. The top switch, the ass switch, definitely feels like it's going from a mid-hump to a mid-scoop. So sort of like the switch on a Super Fuzz or like a Ron Swanson Fuzz, if you remember those from Idiot Box. The bottom switch is labeled harm, which is for the harmonic structure. I think that's even odd. What I know is when I'm running it at home myself, I have all my basses are passive pretty much, so they're not pushing quite so hard. I have both switches to the left. That gives me a really full sound, really just big, open, kind of nasty fuzz sound. But if you flip these switches to the right, then you get a little bit tighter, a little bit more scoopy sound that is probably more akin to like a metal distortion kind of sound. Again, these are approximations because this pedal reacts differently, and we noticed it when we were recording all the tones today. Each different bass sounded different and responded differently to the controls. There's a lot of interactivity between all of the controls and the incoming signal. So this video is going to show you a handful of tones with a handful of different basses, players, and musical styles, and your mileage may vary. Just grab one of these if you can get your hands on it and experiment to your heart's content, because that's what I've always done, and it's been successful for me, just playing my basses the way I play. And before anybody lambasts me for not knowing what these switches do, I actually had an email conversation with Paul Barker about it one time, several years back, and the explanations there were also not very clear. They were like, it changes the game structure, or it changes the harmonic content. It was something like that. It's been so many years I can't remember exactly, but that's on me. So if you know exactly what about these two switches is changing EQ-wise, harmonic content-wise, and we can't forget the octave up overtone, which can get more or less pronounced depending on how things are set. Let me know in the comments. As explain like I'm 5. Let's do an explain like I'm 5 if you happen to know. So anyway, yeah, this is a little more of a casual video, again with one of my personal pedals that I just really love at home. I wanted to share it with the bass channel community, and I wanted to share it with Chris because Chris had no idea about this guy either. So yeah, this just turned into a video based on, hey, I really love this pedal, can we do something with it? And yeah, so if you're still here with us after that long, I thank you for watching, and yeah, that's about it for me and the Assmaster. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, become a channel member if you'd like to support us a little bit more, and otherwise, I don't have anything else to say, so be cool, play bass, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.